Welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida's new and exciting weekly radio show. A show focused on businesses in Bay and surrounding counties. Business Between the Lines is hosted by Christy Kirkland, a business accelerator with Answer Marketing, and co-hosted by Jason Price, a video guru with Riplify Media.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
And welcome back, everyone, to ESPN Northwest Florida's Business Between the Lines show. And I know, I'm going to say it again. We say this every week.
She really does.
We're going to keep saying it because our area has some amazing people. And we are just blessed to have them in our inner circle and be able to bring them on to Business Between the Lines and share them with you. So today we have Jim Hayden. Most of Bay County will know him by the Bagel Maker. When I first met him, he was in a pair of shorts, and it was in the winter. So
that's a Floridian through and through.
Right. So it's just kind of one of those things that he's a little quirky, which I love. He comes to us with a wealth of background, former vet, plumber, mechanic, salesman. He's kind of has everything going on, and I guess one day he just woke up and he decided, I'm going to open a bagel maker, or I'm going to open a bagel shop. And I'm going to start making bagels. And I don't have any experience, but that's okay. I'm just going to jump in there and make it happen.
One of the things that I love about Business Between the Lines is we're here and we exist to be able to connect you with people that you would love to have some kind of a relationship, but maybe you don't know them personally. So in just a minute, Jim's going to come on, and he's going to share some of his experience, some of his tips, and how he can go from doing this to this to this to then one day deciding, let's do the Bagel Maker thing. And you don't have to have a college education. You don't have to have years and years of preparation and planning and getting ready. He's going to show you how you can just jump in and get it done, and you don't have to do it perfect
Correct
the first
mindset.
time. That's right. So stay tuned. After this commercial break, we'll be right back with Jim Hayden.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
Hey,
Hey,
Jim.
Hey.
I think that throws everybody off when we do that.
A little bit.
So welcome back, everyone, to ESPN Northwest Florida's Business Between the Lines. As promised, we have the Bagel Maker here on the show with us today to inspire us, enlighten us, motivate us. Yeah, I'm pumping it all the way up there, so you better deliver. And he's just going to share some of his tips and insights, as we always do, to help our community. So take it away.
To get the best rise out of your bagels, use fresh. That's not what the show's about?
That's not what the show is about. 19 years and
How the Bagel Maker came to be, not necessarily how he makes his bagels.
Okay, all right. Well, it started about 22 years ago. My wife, my then wife, she got stationed at Tyndall, and I told her, I said, I'm not moving again. This will be my last move, and I need to grow my own roots. She was reaching retirement, and I said, I'm never working for somebody else again. And that started it. So I became unemployed in Monterey when we moved here, and it took me 11 months to find a business I could buy. The only one I could afford was a defunct bagel shop, Brooklyn Bagel Factory in St. Andrews, and it was all the money I had, so I spent it. And I bought a bagel shop, and then I learned how to make a bagel.
Right.
And then I learned how to run a business, and thank God for mentors and friends and supporters.
What, you mean you didn't learn how to do this before you
You
bought
didn't
it?
spend years of preparation figuring out how to do it ahead of time?
I've never worked in the restaurant business.
I love that.
I worked at McDonald's for about 2 weeks when I was 16,
Right.
and I scooped ice cream for about a year at High's Ice Cream when I was 16.
Right.
And I realized that was not the path I wanted to go. So here I am. and I'm loving every minute of it. I really
Right.
am. I love to get up. I don't get up every morning. We have an amazing team. Cheryl's been with us for 18 years. Wendy's been with us for 10. Kyle has also been with us for 10. And that is our core team.
Right.
So
And we had you come on come to our A-team meeting
yes.
to talk specifically about that, about creating that culture
Yes.
and having clients, the loyalty, and also in the employee side of it and stuff, because that's a big thing here in Bay County right now, where people are like, we can't keep employees, we can't keep customers. They come one time, we wow them, and then they move on to something else. How do we create that loyalty and stuff? And you didn't have a college education. You didn't have all that background prep to say, this is what you got to do to make it happen.
You and I differ. We are opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to reading. I am a horrible reader. I'm a technical reader.
I tease him about it all the time.
All the time. I am a numbers guy. I will sit and do a spreadsheet for nothing, just
Numbers.
for fun. And Sabina is amazing. She makes sure that I don't overheat and I don't get overloaded.
Right.
So,
That's good.
But as far as what I learned and what I needed to learn, I learned early on when I was a mechanic and sales that commission is a good thing. Commission motivates people. So does teamwork. So does flexible schedule. So does appreciation.
Listening to their needs.
Yes. Well, most employees, if you ask them why they left, they'll say money. It's not money. It's never
Yeah.
money. It's always because of appreciation or because of schedule, is conflicts. There's always underlying issues.
Right.
It is never for money. So one of the things we did is, number one, we set up our business initially so that it would be a mom and pop business. So if Sabina and I ran it, that's the way it was.
Right.
So we're closed on Sundays. We're closed every day at 3. I have an evening life. I have a Sunday. So if everybody quit and it was just her and I running it, it would be a horror. It was very hard.
Right.
But we could do it.
But you could do it.
But we could do it and maintain a business. Our sales would drop because we're only 2 people. We can only do so much. And yes, we would probably get burned out after 6 months to a year. But it would allow us to do it. Anybody who says they're a self-made man or woman, they're lying.
Right.
Serious. They are lying.
Got to have that team.
That's
They
right.
they really do. So I have a team of mentors, of friends, of supporters, which are our customers and friends as well, and my wife and my family. I mean, there's the amount of support
Right.
that you get, and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. I don't know very much,
Right.
but I do know who knows the answer.
And don't be afraid to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. That's like the golden key right
Absolutely.
there.
If you are the smartest one in the room, you're
You're
in
in
the
trouble.
wrong room. You are in the wrong room.
That's so good.
So, and what was it? Was it Thomas Jefferson or John Hancock? I think I don't know who it was. 'Cause
Right.
again, I'm not that smart. But he said the only time I dined alone when I wanted the smartest audience, or something like that
Right.
effect, or somebody said that about him. Anyway, I totally messed that up.
Yeah.
But you know where I'm going, but you know where I'm
We'll
going with
research
that.
it, post it later.
There you go. There you go. That's thank God for the
Google.
internet. So, but I've set up for our employees, unlike most businesses, and it wasn't that difficult. It was difficult to convey to the employees initially, but again, they've been with me a very long time.
Right.
I pay them a percentage of every dollar that crosses the counter. That's weird. Car dealerships, sure. Appliance salesmen, absolutely.
Right.
You know, furniture salesmen, of course, they're all commission. It's normal commission. Realtors, it's normal. It's commission based.
Right.
But a bagel shop, well, that's not commission based. But I was like, I can make it because it motivated me, and
Right.
it also made me feel like I was part of the company.
Plays back to that show that we did on thinking outside the box.
That's right.
Real life example right there.
Oh,
Thinking
yeah.
outside the box. And just because it hasn't happened before and somebody else hasn't done it doesn't mean it's not going to work. We got to take risks and try things. You never know. That's just brilliant.
Man, so what was the reaction whenever you first, hired on these people and told them, like, hey, this is how I'm running things? You're probably used to getting hourly and
No, I hired them at fair wages, and then I would give them raises as I could, and then when Florida went to raise the minimum wage, and that was back in 05, 06, it really put a hurt on small businesses, so I had to figure out a different way to compensate them evenly, but not evenly. So I can
Right.
now give raises for my manager gets a bigger percentage than my next in charge, who gets a bigger percentage of my third in charge, who gets a bigger percentage. So everybody gets
A tiered.
a tiered bonus structure, and there's also a difference in hourly rate as well. Plus they get tips and stuff, so they all get paid very well, and they certainly do better on good weeks. So
Right.
when sales are great, there's a reason they're happy to be there.
Right.
They basically all run their own business.
The better they do, the more they
yeah.
make.
Everybody is invested and everybody is vested, and it allows me to not get the question, hey, I need a raise. I get it on occasion, very rarely, like once every couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's just because something has changed in their lives.
Right.
And if that's the case, then I'll find out what that is and I'll help them. One of our employees years ago needed a loan to buy a car. She didn't qualify for a loan, because of other expenses. I said, no problem. We sat down, we talked about it. We actually got her a car. We financed it for her. It's done.
Right.
So I found out what the problem was, and I
adore
solved
you.
that problem, as opposed to, and a raise. She still got a raise down the road, but it wasn't
Right.
because of that. Her life had changed,
Right.
and she had a new need. So we made sure that need was met.
Which is brilliant when you think about it, because she came to you with just an ask, and instead of just solving that ask, you found out what was the key motivator behind that ask to solve the real problem. And that's, again, that goes back to all of these employers and employees that are always throwing out these reasons that are benign, and it's not really the underlining the real thing.
Yeah, like you
it's
really
just the
dove
straw
deeper
that
and
broke the
figured out
camel
like what's
back.
the actual need of this person, and then how do I make it? And I imagine her care for you, care for the business, overall loyalty and happiness, job performance probably went through the roof, after getting experience like that.
A happier employee
Right.
is a more productive employee. And if you go in there, they all act like they own the place, because they do.
Right.
Man.
Nice.
And that is a reason why we brought Jim on. Jim, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For being on here. That's a stellar example of how you can run a business, how you can think outside the box, like back on Randy's episode. So guys, make sure you stick around. We're going to be right back, Christy and I, to kind of wrap this up and continue talking about this subject on how you can think outside the box. You can serve your people in a new way. You can do a lot of things, and you don't have to have perfect preparation or a big college degree to make it happen. We'll be right back.
Live and local sports, high school sports, college football, the NFL, the Atlanta Braves, the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, the James Hale Show, the Coach's Daughter Show. Sports, we cover it all. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
And welcome back, everyone. I really wish you could be behind the scenes in the downtime.
One day we'll have a studio audience, and you'll catch all these things that we're laughing about whenever we're stepping in.
So welcome back, everyone, to ESPN Northwest Florida's Business Between the Lines. We just got through with an amazing segment, and I needed more time. I need more time.
We got to the end. As soon as we wrapped, he was like, that was 10 minutes. I'm like, I know. We needed an hour.
So we're going to try to put in some tidbits of things that from my knowing him in our long history and stuff, because I've known him for quite a while.
And he was telling us afterward that he had so much more he wanted to share, but he knew we were running out of time, so he wasn't able to share it. So
Yeah,
we're going to do our best to fill you in with the rest of Jim, or at
Right.
least a small little percentage of who the guy is.
Well, I did ask him what were some of the things that keeps him going, what were some of his great tips and stuff like that, because we do like to share those with our audience. And he said you have to have a reason to get out of bed every morning. So,
That's really good.
and that's something that I actually teach, when at the evening before, when I journal and stuff, is what's going to happen tomorrow that's going to make me excited. And sometimes I plan things that I can't sleep. You guys have all experienced this. You got a vacation coming or something like that. It's like you're not going to be able to sleep. So you don't want to do that to yourself every night. But definitely put in those little goals or those little perks throughout the week. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be grand. They don't have to be expensive. But just something that motivates you that you can look forward to in the morning, like a good cup of coffee.
God bless America.
He basically wrapped that tidbit up with people actually die because they don't have something to look forward to, and that's very true, and that's a very wow moment, when you think about that there have been, there's a lot of stories out there where, one of the spouses passes on and then the other one passes very close to that because they've lost their reason and stuff. So we have to fight for that. We have to fight for those reasons, fight for life, because it's worth it.
That's so good. So I want to go over some of the other things that Jim wanted to share, but unfortunately we didn't really have too much time to share.
No. He did say after he committed to purchasing, he had to find a place. He had to rehab the place. Now this is, again, mind you, his background is plumbing, a little bit of mechanics, salesman. He didn't go to college. and he just bought a business.
And I love that he went into the restaurant business, and his only restaurant experience
Was ice cream.
Yeah, was ice cream when he was 16 years old.
Wasn't even in the bread category.
Yeah, totally different thing.
I meant to ask him, I was like, had you had a bagel before you had it? I mean, was that even? But he had to find the place, had to rehab it, dealing with government agencies. He will tell you, it's tough.
Yeah.
There's no step-by-step, guide to get you through this. You have to surround yourself with good people, and you have to ask questions everywhere. You have to do your research and stuff, because a lot of people think, I've got to find out all this stuff before I make that initial step.
Yeah.
And that keeps them from doing anything, because you're never, like you said, you're never going to know it all. You're never going to have all the answers to everything. The best move you could make if you're doing something is to get people around you that are smarter than you. And that,
it's like all that Jim stands for is around. It's not about what you know and who you know. And he was not concerned at all with doing all the research and figuring it out all ahead of time to make sure he could do it right.
Right.
He was like, okay, well, who do I need to talk to, and who knows more about this than I do? I mean, he seems like a really smart guy to me, and he kept on talking about, he's like, I don't know much, but I know who knows what I need to know.
Right. And he's come a long way. That business has had its ups and downs, but every time something has changed, he is the epitome of thinking outside the box and coming up with a solution and keep moving forward and keep raising the bar and stuff. And it is a beautiful business. And anyone that has
And the
ate
bagels
there,
are so good.
amazing.
I had it was probably a year ago last, and now I feel bad I need to go back. But it was about a year ago. I went with a friend of mine.
Mine was yesterday.
I had, there you go, I think it was an everything bagel, and it had cream cheese, and had smoked salmon and capers.
Yes.
Oh,
That's my favorite.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
so
one of my
good.
favorites. Yeah, the big thing about that, you can go down there. I will buy like a dozen of them, and I'll put some of them in the freezer, because you can bring them out and put them in the toaster.
And they just toast up real good?
Yes, it's so yummy.
Oh,
So yummy.
man.
But again, it just comes back to, he says, no one is smart enough to do it themselves. If they say they are, and they say they're self-made, they telling a little story there, because we all need people around us. And don't be afraid to jump out there. That was the other thing. He said your goals should scare you, but still be obtainable. So they got to create that little flutter and stuff, and that is okay to have that. I mentioned in the downtime when you guys weren't here, that my goals cause that heart palpitation, that flutter, heat rises and I get whoo, and then, but thinking about doing it causes the same thing. So a lot of times when I'm having those freak out moments, I'm like, am I excited or am I freaking out? Because they're both kind of the same. And one of our past sessions, I said, we all get butterflies. Even though we get really good at something, I still get butterflies when I go to do something. You just got to teach them to fly in formation.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who's a public speaker tell me one time, because I for the longest time, was so terrified of public speaking. And I've gotten a little bit better at it over the years. And I was kind of asking him questions because I saw him as being somebody really good at it. And he said that he is always terrified before he goes up on stage, every single time. But he's trained himself over the years. Whenever he gets those butterflies, whenever he feels that fear, he tells himself, I'm not afraid, I'm just excited. Because the physiological response of being afraid and being excited
It's the same.
It's the exact same thing. It's just you have a smile on your face or you're freaking out.
Yeah.
So he's retrained himself, and I think that's exactly what Jim has done. Is whenever he faces something he's not sure about, he's like, no, I'm excited. I can figure this out. I know who I need to speak with,
Right.
and they will help me.
And not be afraid
do
to
it.
ask them questions and stuff.
It's all like humility too.
Yeah, people are always looking at, if I ask somebody, they're going to think I'm dumb. Guess what? You know what? We all a little bit dumb. We all a little bit smart. I share my smarts. He shares his dumb. No, I'm totally kidding. He shares his smarts. I share mine, and we're both better for it. And if I never say I don't know something, I'm never gonna know it. So you gotta step out there and you gotta ask the questions. And the beautiful thing about this is he is living proof here in our community. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to have it all to make a step. So think about it. What's holding you back? Are you saying, I got to go get a college degree? I got to go get, $100,000 to open up something? He had just enough to buy it and nothing else. So that's kind of like with my business. When I started it, everybody's like, oh, how much planning did you do? How much background? I didn't. I just knew there was a need and I wanted to fill it. And I had enough in my bank account for my first month rent and my electricity, $5 left. I could go and get me a coffee. So we're good.
I think it's Elena Cardone that said this. I could be wrong. Everything is figure outable.
Yes.
And that's exactly, I think, what Jim
got to take action.
has done.
You just got to step out there. You got to make things happen.
That's right. So we obviously really enjoyed having Jim on. Thank you guys for listening. Before you go, if you are somebody like Jim, where you have had some kind of just incredible story of something you started, something you figured it out, and you wish other people would know the lessons that you've learned in your life, you might just be a wonderful guest. So if you'd like to be a guest, or you know somebody who might want to be a guest, go and message our Facebook page, Business Between the Lines, and we'll get you hooked up. Huge shout out to our wonderful sponsors that bring this show together. We've got Vortex Spring, we've got Aero Pest Service, we've got Highland Finance, and Island Air Express. These people help.
Amazing.
These people help bring the show together and make things happen. Guys, stay tuned. Next Sunday, 8 a.m., we'll be back with another episode of Business Between the Lines. We'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to Business Between the Lines. Join us every Sunday morning beginning at 8 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.